People sometimes will ask me the question, if you know what you know today, would you start SD Bullion all over again? And it's a tough question because in these initial years especially, there were a lot of challenges that we had no idea what we're going to get ourselves into. One of the first things we ran into right off the get-go was, capital. One of the things that makes our business unique is that we've never taken on any debt. To get the business started, both John and I put in a silver equal monster box each. So we had bought those in 2008. This is roughly 4 years later. So they had appreciated. So that was a big investment for us to put in each a monster box. I had to kind of twist John's arm a little bit to get him to throw in his monster box. And we only started with just a few products, 5-10 products on our website. And at that point, it wasn't even a website you could check out on. It was just a page on our blog which said nothing fancy, just a telephone number and low prices. So we really prided ourselves in selling the lowest cost bullion. We felt that we had 400,000 unique customers on our website, on our news website. So we said, well, we're not going to beg these people to come buy from us. We're going to offer a service at the lowest price, so they're going to want to buy from us, even if they have no idea who we are. I mean, a lot of our loyal customer base, of course, they'd buy from us, but we wanted to go out there and compete for business. And we, as bullion stackers ourselves, we knew that price was a big component of who we are. And we knew that we also had trust, because from the blog, since we're so open about what we're talking about and our views in the economy, we knew we had to build a rapport, as we've discussed about the initial interest that we had, over $300,000 of interest when we first started, before we even officially launched the bullion business, so people wanted to get low prices. So we knew that was a thing, but capital was going to be an issue because we were going to grow fast. And John and I we each put in another monster box in about 4 or 5 months later, but that was it. That was the extent of what we wanted to put in the business. And John, being somewhat known as the doc, we were both the doctor degrees in pharmacy. John is what the doc you would anticipate. I couldn't get him to sign papers. The bank forms, I had to sign those. He would stay away from those. And so I took on majority of liability all myself, and neither one of us were interested in taking on a credit line or any sort of loan with the bank from biblical principles. We knew that we wanted to stay debt-free the entire time. So that was a challenge. And furthermore, when we finally were able to open up a merchant account, because that was part of it, you had to open a credit card merchant account so people could pay with their credit card on the website. We learned the battles with the credit card business. And one day I remember that we had an amazing day. I think the market went down and we had a great deal on a product. And I thought everything was going great. I forget how much. I think we had over $300,000 of credit card sales, just credit card sales for the day. So wow, that's a great day. And then the next day I woke up and I found out that the credit card settlement hadn't settled into our bank account. I'm like, well, that's weird. It normally would have posted by now. And so we made some phone calls, talked to our connections at the bank, the merchant account, and they had told us that there was a problem. And I said, well, what's the problem? They said, well, in one day, you process as much transactions as we had projected you to do for the entire year. And I'm like, well, that's great. That's growing business. It's awesome. They're like, well, no, that's not good. That's too risky. I was like, no, you're too risky. And we have a couple different options. And one of the options they listed was to refund all the customers' orders from the prior day. I'm like, well, that's not an option. I mean, these orders are already locked at a market price. We can't cancel everybody's orders. They're going to be really upset. We ended up settling with, they did a $100,000 credit card or reserve. We had a deposit, $100,000, and that was a lot of money back then. I think they let us build up to that over 3 months. So $100,000 over a 3-month period that they would just hold on our account, not pay us any interest, just in case there was any issues. And at the time we were pretty naive to know about credit card issues. And they have processes in place, and we learned about those processes. Probably shortly after, maybe a month or two after that, we had our first real, credit card issue where customers were using stolen credit cards. This is 10 years ago, so it's pretty new. Now it's pretty commonplace for most people to know about, different people stealing credit cards. But back then it was still pretty new. And we ended up suffering about a $30,000 loss, which was news to us because we had tracked down what bank had the breach. It was a bank in Texas, and we knew exactly the bank. They had emailed everybody, they had mailed everybody out the notification there was a breach, and these customers, or the criminals, they used these stolen credit cards on our website. We thought, well, the bank should be liable, but as most people are aware in our industry, the bank's never liable for anything. So we're here eating $30,000 a loss. So, there was a reason, why, the merchant account was, the people at the merchant account weren't excited about all that business we were doing. And thankfully we found another bank that was more accommodative to let us grow. We learned day by day. There wasn't a day that went by that we didn't learn, a new thing, especially as it relates to, fraud, and we've seen every sort of fraud that I think you could possibly imagine. So the bank in some ways was right in their assessment, but thankfully we found another partner that worked better with us long term.